Hello, good evening, everyone. Hi, Nevaeh. Nevaeh, can you hear me? Can everyone in chat hear me? Hi, Nevaeh. Are you there? Hi, bless your heart.
Hey, sugar.
Good evening. Hi. I can hear you just fine now. Thank you, Bama. Hello, everyone in chat. Thank you all for joining me. I will give it a few to let others join in. Hopefully, we can get some others to join. Once again, I thank you all for joining, and I thank Nevaeh for once again being by my side here. While we're waiting, I'll say some hellos to people in the chat. I see Ice Cold, and Bless Your Heart, and Bones, and Bama Green Eyes, King Vic, Clash in Canada, hello. Hi, Sandy. DC Accuracy, Druzy, and Wendy O. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you all being here. Hi, Jessica. It's great to see you. Your positivity is going to be appreciated tonight for sure.
Clash in Canada. It's Nevaeh. I put that up there because people are fond of calling me that, so I just figured I'd embrace it.
All right, so I am going to go ahead and get started here. And I'd like to start by once again thanking everyone for joining me. Tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about self-worth. You may have noticed that in the title, and I'm figuring with the title alone, I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of people in here, but it's okay. I'm hoping that those of you who are here will stay with me and hear what I have to say. It was really difficult for me to put this together, and you'll soon see why. But tonight I want to talk to you about self-worth. And you see, about 6 weeks ago, I was invited to a live stream where Joe was a guest on the panel. And I clicked on the link and I joined the chat, and I was listening to the panel for a little bit. And at first, I was really reluctant to type in the chat. It seemed like a really tough crowd, and I didn't recognize anybody in there. So I looked around for a little bit, and then politely, after a few minutes, I said hello in chat. Well, only one person responded to me, and she offered a warm hello, and she made me feel extremely welcome there. And that person was Kat Nat. And I remember her so clearly because my first response to her, I accidentally typed in Cat Nate, Nate, instead of Nat. And as I said my apologies to her, her response stuck out to me. Her response was, "It's okay. If you know your own self worth, it doesn't matter what others call you." And like I said, that those words really stuck out to me. And as I've been hearing people remember things about her these past few days, it really made me think about how she said that to me. And I'm really saddened that I didn't get a chance to talk to her about what I have learned. And I've really learned a lot. and I'll ask some of you guys to join in a minute, but I kind of want to talk about what I learned really quick before anybody else joins in. What I've learned is that too often we base our own value on how somebody else is treating us, or how successful we are, or how much money we make compared to other people, or in YouTube world, how many subscribers we have, or how many people are joining our chats when we're doing live streams. But there's a problem with all of that. And I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is that things can change. And if you're getting your value from how people treat you, and they let you down by hurting you, or by talking about you behind your back, or disrespecting you, or disappointing you in any way, then you're going to feel devalued. And if and again, you really have to think about your own value and where you stand with people, especially when it comes to YouTube. Um, I know we're all going through a lot, and we're all reflecting and thinking about where we stand with others by some of the actions that others are taking. And I just want us to realize that, if something happens, there's a fire or a loss of a job, there's a sudden illness, or like we've learned with Kat, if there's a sudden death, then does your value go down? What happens to you? I mean, when you're basing your value on what other people think about you, and those things go away, then does your self-worth also go down? What others think or feel about you shouldn't affect your self-worth. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here today. I see a lot of people are being bashed and hurt and disrespected and degraded, and it's not a good feeling when you have to go through that. And it really makes you question your self-worth. And so today I want to talk about what self-worth means to all of you, not just to me. I've kind of explained a little bit about what it means to me, and I mean, I could go on. I've wrote notes about what self-worth means to me ever since Kat Nat brought that to my attention, because before that, self-worth didn't matter to me. It wasn't something that I thought about, but ever since I had that conversation with her, then it really makes me think about it. And I also think that the mistakes that you make don't decrease your value, but you really have to learn from them and reflect on them, and remember that your value comes from within. It's who you are as a person inside. It's who you want to be. And some of the things I want to talk about today are how we get to having a positive self-worth. And hopefully you guys can all, add to this. I know there's a lot of things that are included in self-worth, and it's about self-respect and self-discipline, and recognizing your mistakes and being accountable for them. And so there's a lot that goes along with that. And I'm hoping that you guys can join me and give me some feedback and help me figure out this whole self-worth that the Kat Nat has introduced me to. So if anybody would like to come up and talk about it, I would be more than happy to allow you to join. Welcome back, Nevaeh.
Thanks. I lost my signal to StreamYard, but I had everything else, so I had to. I've been listening though on the YouTube side.
Good. I'm glad you heard that. So, is there anything that you can think of that you want to add about self worth and what it means to you?
Well, being my age, and a lot of people are younger than I am in the group that we tend to frequent, or one of them, I should say, because there's only a few channels on this part of YouTube that I go to anymore, and there's reasons for that. Um, what I think of in my life is my greatest accomplishments and how dynamic that I have been in certain projects and how much joy and feeling of accomplishment that brought to me. So I just kind of reach out to that part, and no matter what anybody, because YouTube doesn't pay my bills. So no matter what anybody in YouTube tends to say or whatever their opinion is, they really don't know me. And there have been many people who haven't tried to know me. I mean, it doesn't take away from what I feel about myself. And so it just depends on what you reach for, that keeps you going, that keeps you uplifted, and what you have in your life and what brings you joy. I would just kind of advise people not to put a lot of credence into what you see on YouTube, because YouTube is not really your life. So don't depend on that for your validation. Depend on the things that your life is really about.
I agree. I think you've made some really good points there. And I think often we take too serious what others think and feel about us. And, we tend to run with those um, characteristics that people label us to have. And we feel like we need to live up to that when inside you know that that's not right. And I see it happening a lot, and I've seen people have changed over time. People are not as kind as they used to be, and it's really sad to see that. And it makes me wonder if these people have stepped back and valued their own self worth. And hopefully, with this conversation, it will give people that opportunity to take the time to do that.
Well, one can hope. I tend to try to get involved in things that bring me some sense of giving back. Like, I do a lot of research, and so that and a lot of people can't, right? So the fact that I can, I try to put that to use, and I try to present everything in my research from all sides, not just being one-sided or putting a jaded sort of sense to it. I try to be honest about it and present all sides of a topic. So that's one thing that I spend my day doing, and that brings me some sense of accomplishment when it comes to fruition. Hello, Jen. Wow, how are you?
I am good. I'm just carry on. I'm good, thank you.
What do you have to say about all this, Jen?
I just got in here. Nadine was holding me back. Yeah. It's Nadine's fault. I just got in here, so I'm gonna be listening, catching up with you guys.
Hi, Jen. Welcome. I'm glad you could make it. Is there anything that you would like to add? One of the things that I've discovered when I was learning about my own self-worth is not only do you have to set goals, but you have to be disciplined. And when I set my goals, I set them and I make sure that they're realistic. And I actually set three types of goals. I set short-term goals, and then medium-term goals, and then long-term goals. And I try to focus on the short-term goals, and then eventually I realize that I've worked my way into my medium-term goals. But I think that and having discipline and actualizing yourself and being aware of who you are and what you represent says a lot about um, your value. You know, you always want to be the best that you can be, the best version of yourself. You know, and if you're struggling with that, then you know you can always fall back on those goals and those standards that you've set for yourself, limits that you've set for yourself. I know with finding your value and your worth in a relationship, you kind of really have to think about those things. You know, you have to think about the respect that you have for yourself. You have to choose you first, and you have to choose it with determination. You can't let others' thoughts and opinions about you determine who you are and what you want to become. You know, you have to attract the right people, and by doing so, if you surround yourself with positive people who are positive influences, it's a lot easier to reach those goals because you have that support and that positivity that's going for you. So that's also important as well.
So the other thing that I find validating for me personally, I raised two really good children. My daughters are very dynamic in their lives, but when they run into something that they feel confused about, you know, and they're grown women with their own children, they still do refer back to me as either just an ear or to get advice from. But they're my main accomplishment, and then that's my feeling about the greatest accomplishments in my life, and it gives me a sense of satisfaction to see that they have become successful and dynamic in their own lives.
That's true. You bring up another good point there too. You know, and your children are a reflection of who you are. If you raise good children, you know, and I'm not bragging here, but I often have people tell me that my boys are very respectful and polite, and you know, I like to say that I've taken a part in raising them to be these boys that you know that people are telling me that they are. So it does say a lot about one's character. You know, your children say a lot about your character, and that's good that they can reach out to you and you have that type of relationship where they can come to you and talk to you about that. That's important too. It's nice
Yeah,
to know
well,
that you can have someone.
they weren't always happy with me when I was raising them. You know, kids don't like their discipline. But, you know, now they come back to me and say, "I am what I am because of you." So it's nice for them to give you credit, even though you had your disagreements along the way.
Isn't that just a wonderful feeling when your kids tell you that? You know, it's because raising kids is not easy. You know, there's those tough teenage years and there's terrible twos, and you know, I know as a kid I said some mean and ugly things to my mom and my dad as I was growing up, and I always thought, you know, they're so mean and they're so, you know, why are they like this? And now I'm like, thank goodness they were that way, you know, because they've raised me to be, you know, I like to think that I'm a productive citizen now, and I have strong morals and values, and sometimes I'm not always, you know, perfect, and I don't always get things right, but I like to know that I can make a mistake and go back and correct it and learn from it. One of the other things that you know when Kat was talking to me about you know your self worth, um, I thought in YouTube we all try to be somebody that we're not. We try to put on this persona that we're, you know, tough and that we can take just about anything that comes our way. And when I seen Silver Diamond on Polly's panel, and she had tears in her eyes, and she was upset because of the way that she's been treated. That really made me stop and think about the way we treat each other. And I keep saying that, it says a lot about one's character, the way you behave on a panel. I think it says a lot. And people, as we're up here on panels, people are in the chats, they're judging us, they're making decisions and basing their opinions on things that we say and things that we do. And so I think it's only right that we set an example and try to teach others to be the best that they can be at everything you do. We all have different talents, we have different things that are good about us. And, those things are always getting pushed aside because of the drama, and I think it should be a chance for all of us to shine. And so I'm hoping that we can provide that here, a place for people to go and shine and share their positive experiences and their talents and their know-hows.
So what I've come to realize over time is that, and you don't actually know this when you're young, you don't kind of look at things the same way, but as you get older, you start to see more and more that everyone that you cross paths with in your life has something to bring to the table, whether it be good or bad. You still have something to learn from it. It could be a good experience, and that's great. It can be a bad experience, but you can come out of it with a new perspective just the same. So everybody has value.
I agree. I believe that. It's what we make of it, So, is there anybody that would like to come up and join us and share an experience that has made them realize their self-worth?
So I just want to make a comment really quick. Humor's good. A little bit of trolling is good as long as it's done, in fun. And I welcome those things because they make me laugh. But when you start trying to make an example of other people, when you yourself have made some really huge mistakes, I think you're showing what you are. And if that's what you're going to engage in, that's fine. But just be aware, and I'm talking to you, Beaver, just be aware of how people are seeing you when you do it. I am not the topic of this conversation.
That's right, Beaver. I don't appreciate you coming in here with that negativity. I've asked that the negativity be left at the door. So if you don't have anything positive to add to the conversation, maybe this is not the stream for you. I still keep going back to what Nat told me about recognizing your self-worth. And one of the things that I've discovered through this whole figuring out what my self-worth is that a big part of it is also having forgiveness, being able to forgive. And if you're not able to forgive and let go, you're going to really struggle. And that's one of the things that I find that works for me. People can say mean and ugly things to me, and in my heart, I forgive them, but I don't forgive them for their benefit. I forgive them for myself. And I just choose not to be involved with those type of people. Once again, I say I try to surround myself with positive people because there's just so much negativity going on in this world that I don't want to be a part of it. I want to um, see the sunshine, and I've said this 100 times. Maybe I am asking for too much. Maybe I'm living in this little fantasy world where everything is perfect, but I'm okay with that. I've seen so much negativity in my world that I just want to try to focus on things that are positive, and spread that positivity. And I don't want to be bashed for it, but if people think that, that's what they need to do, well, again, it goes back to how you value yourself. And maybe those people need to take a step back and value themselves. You're welcome, bless your heart. I know we all really needed this. There's just been so much going on in our community, and I say that with quotations, that there's a lot of ugliness, and we just lost someone who was a very, very special person to a lot of people. And for anybody to say anything negative about her, I'm having a hard time um, hearing that, because I've seen nothing but positive things. And like I said earlier, I didn't get a chance to tell Kat Nat, thank you for bringing this um, idea and this thought forward to me about self-worth, because it's something that I'm sure we all struggle with. And maybe some of us are not brave enough to come forward and say, hey, I struggle with that too. But we all struggle with it. We are all humans, and there's something in our lives that we struggle with on a daily basis that makes us um, question what our self-worth is. And it's okay to question that, and as if you can recognize what the problem is and you can work on it, then you can better yourself.
Yeah, I think Catnat actually had a positive influence on a lot of people anywhere that she went. And I had a very difficult struggle, and just kind of kept pushing forward through it to the point where she couldn't do it anymore. Because we haven't seen her for a bit. That's how sick she had gotten. But I like to think that maybe somebody has picked up the helm and can go forward with the positivity that she put forth, into the streams that she went to and the chats that she was part of. And I do see that in a lot of people. There's other people that are really doing their very best to stay positive and pleasant through whatever is going on, whether it's on the panel or whether it's in the chat. So, yeah, I'd like to think that somebody has embraced what she brought forward to us, all of us, and the influence that she had.
And I think she has. And like I said, those words that she said to me that one day really stuck with me. And I think she would be proud to say that she at least touched one person. And I'm proud to say that I was one of them people, because I agree with you. She did touch many, many lives. And I just was getting to know her. Um, so, but every time I seen her, it was that positivity and that, that sense of a good-hearted, good-natured person is what I got from her. And I get that from a lot of people, like Jessica S. She says, once we replace negative thoughts with positive ones, we start having positive results. And that's so true. And that's what I want to do here. I want to spread that positivity. And I've asked on my last stream that others join me in that. And I really haven't seen a lot of that going on. And that's okay, because sometimes it's going to, it may take several tries, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue to hope that people are positive and and live up to that being the best you can be.
This is not the army, but you can still be the best you can be. So
I
just before
agree.
the stream
Yes.
started, one of my filters was making this awful noise, and I said, okay, now I definitely can't have that going on. So I got a zip tie, and I stuck it under the stem that holds the impeller that goes down into the motor that drives. It's all magnetic, and just adjusted its position just enough to where it has gone absolutely silent, and it's like a dream.
Oh gosh, I really need to invest in another fish tank. I know they are so soothing, and I hear that they're really good for people that have anxiety and high stress levels, and they help you calm down. So
There's an
it's
actual
something that I
study
need
on
to.
that. Yes, you're right. Everybody needs one fish tank, even if it's only one fish in one tank.
I feel really guilty about having one fish in one tank.
A
I
betta.
do.
They don't mind being alone. One betta in a 5-gallon. Awesome. So anyway, yeah. So all of these points are really, really spot on, and like to think that everybody's taking it on board. So isn't there someone who wants to come up and talk about this topic? It doesn't have to be a woman, by the way. It can be a man as well.
Yes, I would love to hear that. I'm going to post the link in the chat here. If anybody would like to come up, please feel free to.
Hello, Cindy. How are you doing? Hello, Joe Cool. Soul Sister Joe Cool, not black. Come on. Really? Some people don't understand that color thing, dude.
That's Joe Cool. Joe Cool just showed up. He's famous.
Hi, El Coro. Welcome, Cindy.
How are you, girls?
Hello.
Thank you
I
for
heard some
joining us.
negativity creeping in, so I thought I'd come and bring a little sunshine along.
I loved your slow motion rough waters. That was just absolutely awesome, because even though you could tell that a storm was like going through or coming in slow motion, it totally changed the
Hang on, we
perception of it.
got to swap from.
So what's going on
How's
with you,
that?
Cindy?
Oh, life.
It's a journey.
You know how it's everyday life. Oh, I got an echo. Hold on. Let me see.
Where did I go? Am I still there?
Yes, you're
There I
here.
You're still here, Carl.
Hello, AK.
We've got a rum in one hand. There's the U-Wobs, and I've got a cigarette in my mouth, and I've got a phone in the
Okay, is
other
that
hand.
better?
So I'm sort of.
Say something, Nevaeh.
Something.
Okay. I don't hear two Nevaehs now.
Awesome.
Hi, Caterpillar.
Only one of me is enough to try to take.
I got a new phone, and I'm trying to figure out how to figure it out.
Welcome,
It takes forever to figure out the new phones. Now I got something to share.
You know what I did? I got a new phone too, but I got one exactly the same, so I already know how it works.
So I'm gonna get emotional halfway through, so you're gonna have to give me a minute.
No worries.
It's okay. We understand.
You're talking about self-worth and different things, but I don't know, something Sugar said, but I forgot already. Oh, I know. She said you said something, Sugar, about getting along. We also have. Well, first of all, when you read your Bible, let me start backwards. When you read your Bible, the Bible tells you gotta forgive somebody 7 times 77 a day. Well, we have trouble forgiving each other once. How many of us can forgive 7 times 77 a day?
I also think one thing you should think about, Cindy, is I can forgive you, but that doesn't mean I want you to eat at my table.
That's right.
Very true.
My dad used to always say, I can forgive you, but don't mean we're going on vacation. But, and also, if we're going to, we might need to get along a little better, because we may not know if that's the last time we're going to see each other.
That's true.
I don't want to say, "Stop, but Sugar, I'm gonna keep picking on you." I don't want Sugar and I to fight on the computer, and the last words Sugar hears me say is, "Sugar, I hate you," or something. And then for Sugar to go out and get in an accident, and for me to know the last words I said to Sugar was, "I hate you." But you never know when it's going to be that day. And you think, Cindy, why is that bothering you so much? Well,
we love you, Sugar.
Thank you, Coral. Thank you. I love you too.
A 34-year-old lady with a 2-year-old little girl just going to the grocery store, happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The police were chasing a man doing 100 miles an hour, and he T-boned that car. And now that 2-year-old little girl has no mother.
Saw that on the news today.
So, do we want to constantly be fighting?
No,
there were some people, there were some family members who were fighting with that lady. And the last things they said to that lady weren't nice things.
Here's the Cindy, sadly, there's so many people who don't even have their own inner peace. If you don't have your own inner peace and your own happiness, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, and death brings out just the ugliest side of people. That's what I found out with my family.
I am watching people grieve for the loss of a sister and different things. Plus, for the loss of, but not for the loss, for the knowing that the last things they said were ugly. You know? Do we want to be that? I mean, is that how we want to live? I don't know. It was my friend, so, you know. But to know that you can just be going to the store and that could be it. And the last thing I said to you was, I hate you. I mean, maybe we need to look within ourselves as to, is that how we want to talk to each other? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
do we really want to walk around talking to each other that way?
It costs nothing to be a good human. Have a smile, a wave, whatever, you know what I mean? Tell somebody, oh, you know, tell a woman, oh, your makeup looks nice, you know, if they did it, or oh, you have pretty hair, or
right.
You know,
right.
Tell a gentleman, you know, you look handsome today. Do you know how many men don't get told a compliment ever?
That's exactly right.
It takes nothing to be a decent human.
You know, and something as simple as a smile can make a huge difference in somebody's day. That's something I say all the time, smile, it's contagious. Somebody once told me, I smiled at an older woman, and she told me, you are the first person, look at that. She said, "You are the first person that has smiled at me in such a long time," and it just really made a difference to her in her day. And so I always think about that. And I if I see anybody that I come across, I smile, even if I don't get a smile in return. It's always an icebreaker. People are more willing to talk to you, and just to be kind and and say hello if you smile.
Right. I waited until late at night till I knew my daughter was in bed, and I just texted her and said, "Mommy loves you." And to where I knew that when she woke up the next morning, that'd be what she found. Um, because she was just taking this death so hard, and I wanted her to just wake up in the morning and find that. Um, but doesn't take much to just even sometimes just a smile in the grocery store. It's all you. Sometimes you
Cindy,
see some pretty grumpy people in the grocery store.
Cindy, I got a sweet story for you. I was like 17 years old and I was working at a McDonald's. I'm proud to say I was. I worked real hard, and I ended up having to work on Valentine's Day. And every person that came through, I was determined. Every person that came through, I was going to tell them Happy Valentine's Day. I was working the drive-through, so I was the person who got the cash. So I saw everyone, and I had a person come back through, a young gentleman come back through with a dozen long stem red roses, and he came through and told me I was literally the only person to tell him Happy Valentine's Day.
see, and he'll remember that forever. On every Valentine's Day, he will remember that.
He will.
It's the smaller things in life that make the biggest difference, and that's something I say all the time. It's the smaller things.
And it took
in life.
me 2 seconds. Yeah, it took me 2 seconds to say, "Hey, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day."
That's it.
Sorry, Odin, I can only have 6 up at a time, hon.
That's what it takes.
I can drop if somebody wants to come up. It's fine.
I think he dropped off.
No, he was just sharing something. It's a poem. He sent this to me when my mom had passed.
So every time I go out, I sometimes walk up to the corner store, not very often, but everyone that I pass, I smile, say hello, and I don't think people are used to that anymore. When I go grocery shopping, everyone I see in the store, I say hello to, tell them to have a nice day when they're going the other way in the aisle. That's just what I do. It's what I've always done. And that may be the only thing that makes a person smile that day. So why not do it? Because it doesn't cost you anything.
I've got a poem here that I would like to read. Hopefully you can. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to read this poem, so excuse me if I don't read it correctly, but here it goes. I'm free. Don't grieve for me now. I'm free. I'm following the path God laid for me. I took his hand when I heard him call. I turned my back and I left it all. I could not stay another day. To laugh, to love, to work or play. Tasks left undone must stay that way. I found that peace at the close of day. If my parting has left a void, then fill it with remembered joy. A friendship shared, a laugh, a kiss. Ah, yes. These things I too will miss. Be not burdened with times of sorrow, I wish. That was beautiful, and thank you for sharing that.
He sent that to me when my mama passed, and it gets me every time. Screw you, Odin.
He's got us in tears over here. I think tears are good though. Sometimes we need to get this out. We need to share happiness. We need to share tears. We need to share all of these moments so that we can connect and realize that we are all human. Behind this icon, and this voice, there's a real human back there. We all have feelings, and I think people tend to forget that, you know, there is a real person behind that icon. So try to be a little bit kinder when you come across people on panels, and when you're dealing with people in chats. You know, spread that kindness.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
give
when
me
we were
just a
sitting in the
second
living
here.
room, my 8-year-old grandson, they're little. Bubba's love to them. He would see a tear and he'd walk over and hug. He'd see someone else, he'd walk over and hug them. He'd see someone else, and I said, he's little. To him, love is love. He's just gonna hug. I said, how many of us when we'd walk over and hug everybody? You know, we might, or would we sit there? But he would just walk around. I said, they're little, they're innocent.
In the current climate that we're living in right now, that has made it so difficult for us to be social with one another, that's fading, Cindy, unfortunately.
Correct.
People don't want to be touched anymore. They don't want to take the risk. And I don't know, for me, to give someone a hug is so great, maybe the greatest thing for them in a day, that if you have that opportunity, why pass it up because of a sickness that's going around? I do wear a mask when I go out, and since we're in a state of a medical emergency right now where I live, it is required that we do, and that's fine. But you don't have to actually put your hands all over someone to give them a hug. It's a very simple, quick thing, and
Right.
it
You don't have to
brings,
maul them to hug them.
yeah, you don't have to maul them, but it does bring out different types of feelings in people. Some people
Oh
don't like
yeah,
to be
big
touched,
hugs.
and I understand that.
That's me.
Um,
Don't touch me. Don't touch
yeah,
me.
I mean,
I'm one of
I
Come on, come on, come
exactly. I
on,
mean,
come on, touch me, baby.
I'm like a fucking porcupine. Don't touch me. Like, I am the sweetest person. That's not my love language. Everybody has different love language, right? And that's what she's explained. For some people, that is their love language, is being a hug, some sort of touch. Me, it's food or coffee.
Well, where I live right now, they barely let you touch anything. You go out and you're in the store and you need a pen, they practically grab it out of you with a glove and wipe it off, and they're acting like we got the plague.
By design.
Our numbers have risen, so now they're acting like we're.
Sorry, I had to gather myself. That poem really touched my heart. We just celebrated the anniversary of my brother's passing, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I've adopted his two boys, and every time I look at them, I remember my brother, and so when I heard that poem, it really made me think about what Cindy said earlier about you never know when it's going to be the last time you see somebody. So always treat people with kindness, and just be grateful and blessed for everything that you have, no matter how big or how small it is, and more so even be blessed and grateful for the people that you have that are positive influences in your life. Caterpillar, you are there, and I haven't heard anything from you. Would you like to say anything, honey? Jimmy,
I'm here. I'm here. I thought I was gonna come up and be all tough as nails, You know, nothing's going to make me cry. And then there's this guy at the beach. I don't know him. Coro? What's his name?
El
That's
Coro, yeah.
yeah. And it's like I grew up at the beach from day one. The beach is my home, and I live in Colorado now. I mean, I've been here 10 years, but the beach, I'm homesick. And this guy thought I could get up here. I see the guy writing in the sand, and it's like, oh my God, you know, because that's just memories for me. And then Cindy starts, and then AK, twin mommy, you are so wise beyond your years because you said
Kids.
something. You said something that just hit me right away. And it's like, I finally found peace with myself, but that was about at age 50, you know, and that is a key thing. You have to be at peace with yourself before you can ever be, you know, right with somebody else, right? I mean, and some people never are at peace with themselves, and instead they turn it around and be ugly to other people because they don't like themselves. You know, I was trapped in my past for way too long, but I came to a point where, you know, I had to move away from my home to do it and get off drugs. But, you know, I don't blame myself anymore. I don't carry a bunch of blame. And I don't have much to, you know, say that I did to contribute to the world. I didn't get a Nobel Peace Prize or anything, but it's okay. You know, I've managed to be, you know, a decent person to people. I know what it's like to grow old now because I am, you know, and it's like I always respected the elderly, even when I was young. It was my first job in a convalescent home. The bottom line is, kind words mean something. Like you say, just if you tell somebody, "Hey, you look nice today," or whatever it may be, just a kind takes a second to say it, but it really does mean something to somebody because you never know what the person you're looking at is going through. You really don't. You don't know. You're not in their shoes. And
I
especially on
thought I had
YouTube.
it bad because I had no shoes.
Oh,
Until
well,
I met a
yeah,
man who had no feet.
that's a great quote. My grandpa always said that. Felt sorry for him. Yes, indeed he did. And also, I'm trying not to cry here because that guy, I want to go to the beach so bad. Anyway, sweet as sugar. I love you so much. But see, here I go. Anyways, what you said about forgiveness is something that's necessary for yourself. You don't have to forget what somebody's done. Never forget. But, you know, to forgive means, you know, there's too many people that carry around rage and it hate, and it'll eat your own self. It eats you up inside. Forgiveness is about moving on for you. And that's a part I believe is necessary. So it doesn't make you weak because you forgave somebody. You know, people are quick to judge, but we all have probably had some made mistakes in our lives. They don't define us though. We learn and we move on. I mean, God knows. I mean, I don't know. I sound like an old lady now because I never listened to my grandmother, and everything she said to me was completely true. I just never knew it at the time. She raised me because I was raised by my grandmother and father. My mom left me and my two brothers at a drive-in movie and never came back. So my grandmother and grandfather stepped up and raised us.
So
And I
Caterpillar,
had a great life.
my
I did have a
question.
great life. Yes.
So Caterpillar, my question is, do you think that self-worth is something that we learn with age and experience, or is that something that you are born with and you learn as a child?
For me
Thank you, babe.
for me personally, I learned it along through life. I learned it because I never had it for whatever reason. I mean, I wasn't abused. I had a good life. My grandmother and grandfather loved me, but I never felt pretty. I never felt super smart. I mean, I was an average student, but I wasn't never super smart. I always struggled with self-esteem, but I also did drugs. And so I think that was part of it. You know, I had a father that died of drug abuse, alcohol, and my older brother as well. So I think it was just like, you know, thinking that, well, I'm a low life because my dad was, my brother was, so I'll never amount to nothing. But it somehow I don't think that way anymore. You know, I don't know.
I think you've got to go without shoes for a little while, so you
Well, I
can realise
did
that
when I
there's
grew up.
people with no feet.
I love no shoes at the beach, but I live in Colorado now. And plus, I have ugly feet. So I kind of like to keep them hidden. I hate my feet, but I love myself because I know that deep inside, I know that my soul is good and I know my heart is. Sometimes, I've been accused of having you think with your heart, but really my heart tells me when you get down to the bottom of things and life, my life is passing me by quickly. And it's like, there's too much people that waste time on things that don't matter, really. In YouTube, especially. I'll probably be the asshole in somebody's story next month or whatever. We all, they forget about who they're hating and they move on to the next person that in their eyes did something wrong. It's just our country's kind of a mess too. We have a real messy situation in our country.
Yeah,
But
we
at any
do.
rate, I just think that, forgiveness, it's better to love, and hate is just not a good thing. What does it really do? Hate
So I
for the
think that
person that's hating.
it's important to note that there's something that goes along with forgiveness, and that's if someone says to you or lets you know in some way that you've hurt them somehow or made them feel bad somehow. And
Yes.
and when you become aware of that, I think it's important that you acknowledge it and
Yes.
apologize for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be up to them to accept that apology or not. But I don't think that an apology should be made over and over again. I think the first one is the sincere one and it should be accepted.
Right.
Whether you forgive them or not, is on you. But at least they've said, look, I acknowledge that you feel poorly about something I said or something I did, and I apologize for that. And then
Yes.
just let it go, because the more you hang on to it, the worse you're going to feel about it. I think that that's important to note along with forgiveness.
It is. And
I
also,
think
you're correct about the apology too. If it's sincere, and somebody is willing to tell you that they did wrong and they can be accountable for it, then yeah, move on. If they keep doing it, then that's on you. Really, it's how you react to what somebody does to you. But of course, I never knew that. I think age does help, at least for me. It took me a long time to even, understand all this. But I also just think that carrying around a bunch of hate in your heart doesn't help you at all. And it does.
well, having boundaries,
Yes, balance.
when you get that self-love, that self-worth, when
Right.
you know who you are and what you're worth and what your time is worth, you'll notice these flies start to drop off. Right? These non-essentials in your life, these ones that are going to not affect you in any positive manner.
Correct.
And it's okay to forgive someone and also say, you know what, I forgive you, but I also move past you.
Right.
You don't need to be in my life. I want the best for you in your life, but we're done.
Exactly. Because a lot of people, they want you to react. They're waiting for, a reaction, and if you just don't react to their hate, or you say, okay, I forgive you, and you move on, and they try it again or just keep it up, and you don't, it's like you've moved on. So therefore, they don't have any reaction from you. I don't know. People get off on being mean and hating, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't really to say. I can't think of anybody that I've said I hate you to. Seriously, because it's just such a strong word. There's a lot of things I hate, like material things I'll say I hate, but not an actual person. That's so.
No, it takes way too much out of you.
Right.
It drains your energy.
Self-love usually is a thing that happens for you as a growing thing over time through your life. And some people get it quicker than others. As we said a minute ago, is AK is young in age, but she's got her self-love, and what we used to say, I'm an old person, so it's what we used to say, is she's kind of like an old soul.
Right.
Oh, this isn't my first life.
Yeah,
I believe it.
No, I'm being dead serious. This is not my first life. I am an old soul, and
so she's got an old soul.
I believe in God.
She's got
so do I.
So, and some people, they're very old, before they get some of it. And it might be a lot of reasons why.
Right. Oh, I love Bama Green Eyes. There's my sister. She's a, I might go knocking on her door one day and visit her. HBR. That's my other buddy. I haven't seen him
The
forever.
reason why is because some of us are more sensitive and some of us
Yeah.
are more grounded, and there's a reason for that in this world.
Yeah. I mean, my twin brother and I, completely the opposite. He is introvert, extrovert. He was confident the day he came out of my mother's belly, 3 minutes before me. And I was like hiding in his shadow all through the years, behind him. He was, the popular one. I was just his, twin sister. And we were totally different, and we're twins. But yet now that we're both at this part of our life, we're both okay. I mean, he didn't do anything either, like get a Nobel Peace Prize, but we just made it through life. I mean,
But guaranteed you touched
didn't kill anybody.
somebody's life, because if something, I'm not even going to put that out into the universe, but I guarantee you know where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
There would be so many, because I guarantee you I would be bawling my freaking eyes out, because I talk to you in chat all the time, and I love seeing you, and when I say I love you, I mean it.
I know, and I remember you from way back. I don't talk much, but I mean, I can totally remember when I first saw your name. I don't know. I think it was in that Colonel's chat, the lady that stood out of the wheelchair. I don't remember, but
oh, you mean the fake Colonel that I stood up for, and then she stood up for herself?
Yes, exactly. And it's like, I don't know. I liked your name, and same with Swedish Sugar. I remember seeing, Sweet, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I remember I saw this video on YouTube, surfing away, and it was your video about your brother's car. Do you remember? I mean, of course you do.
Yes.
But I saw that, and then when I got the story behind it, I was like, oh my God, I got chills, because I love cars, but I love a brother and sister that I don't know, something just drew me to her, and it's like, I love her to death. She lives in the same area as I. But that's the first video I saw, was the one about your brother's car. And I just said, I got to know this girl. I thought it was just, I know it sounds corny, but it was sweet. Remember that, Wendy?
Oh, yes, I'll have to post it back up again. I took it down because Rick Crude made some really hateful comments on it, and they were disturbing to me, and I got upset.
Are you serious?
But I need to post it back up again.
Oh, I just love that, because it was like special.
I think it's really awesome that the internet has been able to connect us with so many people, right? And so many of us are like kindred souls and have so much in common. And imagine if we really didn't get this opportunity.
I know. I've met some really great people. I'm telling you, I keep saying I don't want my internet life and my real life to mix, but I've met people like AK Twin Mommy and Nevaeh and Caterpillar, and I'm getting to know Cindy, and all these people are, you're all wonderful people, M-Star and Ex Bootlicker and Golden Eyes, and there's just so many beautiful people that I've connected with, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. And I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't like to go out to the bars, and I don't like to do, I'm not a social butterfly like that. So it's nice to be able to meet people. Look at Al Coro. He's across the world from us, and he's sharing the ocean.
Where is he?
Yes, I was asking. I want to know too. It's beautiful.
Al Coro, you want to tell him where you're at?
Moreton Bay, Queensland. Queenslander!
Oh, Australia. And see, I've never even been out of the United States.
Jimmy is my Aussie love. He always has such.
Jimmy's cool as fuck.
He has such a positive word. You know what I mean? And he's funny. And Dingo, oh my goodness, I love Dingo, and his wife.
Yeah,
I love his wife too.
I like to go to.
Well, I'm also in Discord too, and a lot of
Yes.
people made it sound so scary, right? Like it was this horrible place. Don't ever go.
Exactly.
And
That's how I think of it still. I've never been because I
oh
thought
my
it was like a
gosh,
dark bed.
no!
I don't even know how to go. But I
Oh
mean,
no,
I
we
thought the
have
same
so
thing,
many good
too.
conversations.
I don't know. Like you just said, I thought it was a bad place. Like,
Oh
you know,
gosh, no.
so many
There are
people have
bad
said there.
ones. Don't get me wrong, there's bad ones, but it's like
Oh,
there's
that's-
bad YouTube channels, but
Yeah.
oh my goodness, no, I've made some amazing friends.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Maybe I'll try it. Because almost all these channels that I go on, they all have Discord, but I don't even know how to go on it. I don't even have a laptop. Do you believe
Odin
that?
will,
Do everything
believe it
on
or
the
not,
phone.
the best person to walk you through it is Odin.
Odin? I thought he
Swear
was
to
like
God.
a bad
Swear to God,
person.
nope. He wouldn't steer
You
you
thought he
wrong,
was
not
a
on
what?
Discord.
I thought he was a meanie because he was picking on AK's mommy.
Everyone just picks on
Oh,
Odin.
he does.
Odin is a wonderful person. But
Oh,
Oh
don't
no,
man.
tell
Odin
me.
purposely
Here
picks
Don't
on
tell
my
me
mom
we
because
said so.
he's secretly in love with me. Don't let him lie.
Just don't tell him
Oh,
we said
okay.
so.
Thank you
But
for
Odin
saying
is
that.
really a nice guy.
Because I did
He's
not
just
think I was thinking he wasn't a good guy because I don't
Oh
know.
no,
I've
yeah.
heard it. I've
Oh
seen
no.
his.
no.
He picks on my mom to pick on me,
Okay,
and
God.
and the way he picks on my mom is he tells her that I'm smarter than her.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. I really, you
But
know, because
he is a
I think that
genuine.
it's.
If something happened to you, he would be the first
Aw.
guy to be there for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Thank God you said that.
Okay, stop now, you guys. You're going to make his
Okay,
head too
now
big to fit through the
I
door.
need to tell him shut up. Shut up, Odin.
That's
Go
what you
back
were
to
doing
eating
the
your
other
peanut butter.
day. That's why I thought he was mean, like a troll, like
Oh,
really
no.
bad.
Oh, he
troll.
might
But
troll people, but
yeah,
yeah.
but he was picking on AK like kind of bad. It seemed like
Oh,
that's how
Oh,
I.
he just does
Oh, no,
that.
that's
He
not
just
bad.
does
I
that
got.
to AK.
Now I
But you
get it.
notice AK does it back to him.
Yeah, and see,
I'm
I
the
just
only one
did
who
it back.
will really get the zingers on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I take that back.
no, don't worry about Odin.
Okay,
He's a
because I
sweet.
don't want to be mean to anybody just on judgment. And you
Oh
know,
no, be
who's
mean
still-
to him. No, be mean to him.
Oh, I'm supposed to. Okay, because you know that Jimmy. You know Jimmy, that the guy that I guess his icon is an ape. You know who I'm
Yeah,
talking about? Yeah.
yeah.
The first time he ever said something to me, I was all nervous on a panel and he called me, some crazy name that was mean. And I didn't take it personally. All I had to do was say something nice back to him. And then he was nice. But yet he came off like, I was like, I wanted to say cuss words back at him. But I didn't even know
If Jimmy
him.
says something, just tell him, say, Jimmy, shut up. Just tell Jimmy to shut
I
up.
know. So I said something kind of like comical, but kind of a cut back at him. And then now he's nice. So, you just got to ease in because people look at
Yeah.
my channel and I have
Jimmy
nothing
still
on
might
it.
say something smart to him, but just tell Jimmy to shut up.
I know, Cindy, you are like, oh, you are in all the people and I always follow you just because you're about my age. And
She
you
makes
fit
it
in with
fun.
everybody. I mean, you are.
Lately, I've been a little bit of
I just like your tough.
on a tear, which I've got to get myself under control. But last
No, you
week, I've
don't.
just been
No.
so angry. I've just
Whatever,
been so
everybody
angry
is.
lately. But
A lot of people are.
well,
What's your sign? What's your sign?
Cindy's?
Pisces.
You're Pisces.
I'm
Okay, well
Scorpio.
we're in the moon of the Aries, so you're gonna have a hard time right now.
Well, we have a death.
You're gonna
We have a. Well,
yeah,
the
well you're
baby's
gonna
out of
feel really off balance too. By the way.
Well, too, the baby ended up in intensive care, which the baby's better now, but
I'm having a really hard time now.
lately everything was really torn. So I've been wanting to rip everybody's head off for about a week.
I'm having a really hard time.
But I'm getting better.
Are you?
A little bit.
Well, Kuro also said he's having a hard time. What's up, dear?
It's empty.
It's
It's not even
empty.
half full. It's not even half full.
I think there's a lot of bad people in every community. I don't think
I
it's
can't
just in the
say
one
my glass is half full.
Every community.
So El Coro, it's actually full. It's full.
It's full of possibility.
But the baby's got to come home.
Hey, there you go.
And to watch
Bam!
the
There
baby
you
walk
go.
into her house,
There's
made
chock a
everybody feel a
block
little
full of
better.
possibilities. I can't get any more possibilities in there.
You're feeding me empty dreams.
There's the kids killing my kayak ramp. Good on them. I love them. Killing me kayak ramp. I love it. There's some exercise and workout for me this afternoon. Is there anybody's name in chat that I forgot? I'd hate to bloody say that I've left somebody out.
I think
If he's
I like
left
to
your
think
name
that
out,
to
you
us.
need to say it now.
Scotty, you
Speak
write your
up
own name in your sand.
hold your peace. How about, did you get DDT?
You know what? I can go and empty out some of these possibilities, refill it, and come back down. well, you all get a list
Then
together.
you have a whole new world of possibilities. Sorry, I'm on like this spiritual journey.
That's so beautiful. Wherever
Hey,
he's
Kay, what
at.
do you mean this is your second life? May I ask?
I don't believe this is my first life, and I don't believe this is my second life. I believe this is like my fifth life.
Okay.
I believe in God.
I do believe
I
in
believe
God.
He's real. I believe
I
that
do, absolutely.
No. This is my beliefs. This
Oh,
is
okay,
mine.
I'm sorry, but I agree.
Okay, so I believe He's real. I believe He's a jealous God. And the reason being is because He doesn't like the thought of anyone else taking credit for us having our free will or being here. Okay, with that being said, let me make this clear to everybody. You don't have to believe what I believe. I am not putting down any other beliefs. I'm not saying that your beliefs are not right. And I'm not saying my beliefs are right. But I believe that there are other gods. There are other things that have their works. But God allows us to have our free will. He makes sure that that is possible. And I believe some of us are a little bit more sensitive. And I believe that some of us are grounded for a reason. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are skeptical for a reason. They're they help ground the people that are more sensitive. So, you know. But I believe that what you put out is what you get back. And at the end of this life, you have to atone for what you've done.
Okay.
I believe God is a she. God is a
How
she.
does all that give you extra people or more lives?
Because I don't believe that my soul has accomplished what it needed to.
Oh.
Well, now that's actually a philosophy from India, because that's what they believe. If you go out of this world in their mind with more great than not, that you come back as a poor person. If you go out of this world with something poorer than great, then you will come back as a greater person until you find a balance. So they believe that you get reincarnated until you leave with a balance.
Yeah, kind of.
And so I also believe that God is a she.
I'm cool with that.
My girlfriend had a bumper sticker that said, "God is coming," and boy, is she pissed.
Like I said, that doesn't. I'm not saying that I'm right.
I like that.
I could be wrong. This could be my first ever life, but there is something in my soul that tells me that's not right.
So do you believe in reincarnation?
Yes.
I do too.
But I think it's weird because I have this philosophy that, you know, if we've had the life that we were supposed to, and our soul has met, you know, the required needs, and we're ready, and, you know, I think it's our choice almost. I think it's our soul's choice in that sense. don't know. I think I just think we have that choice. I don't understand it either. I could be totally wrong. I could get to the other side and then they'd be like, everything you thought was wrong. I'm cool with that. But if I'm nice to other people and I respect myself and I respect the earth and all the things around me, at least I can say I did that with my life.
Right.
And I think that's more than a lot of people can say.
Well, so we're creatures of imperfection, right? And along with that, we're also the clay that's being formed as we go through our life, striving not to be stagnant, but striving for some sort of perfection. So we go through our lives doing that. We make changes as we go, and we're being formed into something as we go. And so hopefully that all turns out to the positive at the end of the day. We all make mistakes. That's a given. We are human and likely to err, but we can correct ourselves as we go and learn from our errors.
Now, Kay, do you think that there's an end to the world? Do you think there's going to come an ending? Or do you think this system is going to go on and on and on and on?
No, I don't even know about any of that. I know that I won't make it out of this alive, and none of the rest of you will either.
100% right.
In a weird way, I hate saying this.
Say it.
I agree with DDT. Everyone is living on borrowed time. And that's in a sense true. We only have so much time on this earth. How do you want to spend it?
Right.
How do you want people to remember it? Do you want to be remembered as that crotchety old? No. Do I think that our world is going to be seriously affected by the things going on? Yeah, hell yeah. Is it going to be in my lifetime? I don't fucking know. I'm not God. I don't see into the future. I just feel people's feelings, and I can tell you if something is bad if I love you. That's my power. That's what I don't know.
And AK, you have little ones, and I wonder how much do you worry about your children's future? Is it something that you are
I'm
like
scared
on
to
a
death.
scale of 1 to 10?
I'm scared to
10
death.
being the worst. Yeah. See.
Yeah. I'm so scared. Well, it doesn't help that my older boy is so sensitive in one way, but he's really harsh in another, and he can be hard to handle. And I also worry about where the school districts are going, and because as much as I love my kids, I can't be the only person they see.
Right.
That's not healthy. How old is he? He's 4. It's crazy. Oh my goodness.
You're pretty isolated,
you don't have to answer this, but is he seeing anybody to help with his?
Yeah, we have him set to see somebody. They were 6 months out, and that was a month ago.
Yeah, I'll say.
And then
please do it before he starts school. My daughter waited till he started school and made it worse. Please.
No, he's also going to preschool.
Well, I meant till he sees public school.
Oh, yeah, no, he's going to go to preschool at the public school because it falls under the jurisdiction of where I'm at. So he qualifies for it.
Yeah.
The other program that they had, which was more intensive, we make too much money.
Right.
Which is crazy because we barely make enough to make it. So I feel really bad for some people.
So
I'm really glad, really proud of you. I say proud of you because I'm old enough to be your mama. Is that you're doing something early? Yeah.
So I
couldn't get my daughter to do something early. She waited way too late to start getting him help.
I like to respond to Bless. Bless. One person does not determine your worth. Most of all, you determine your worth. Most of all, you decide how you respond to what other people think of you. And no
Sorry,
matter
cut out
what
again for a
someone
second.
says, and no matter what someone says or expresses about another person, it doesn't make it so. So try and see beyond that. When a person devalues you in your life, then you only need to assess yourself and know yourself what you're worth. It doesn't depend on them, right?
And you know, too, Nevaeh, there's this constant struggle between people, and even more so on YouTube, and they feel like they have to prove themselves, and you know, or they have to disprove themselves to others, and you know, we're living in this proving mode where everybody can't feel good, you know,
Almost,
where people don't feel good about themselves, and
almost like
you
there
know,
has to
it's
be a top dog.
yes,
Right.
and we see so much projection, and you know, and it comes back to people not feeling good about themselves and not valuing their own self-worth. You know,
Oop,
you
I got a
can't
baby
be
crying. I gotta
positive
go.
and
Okay.
okay. Thank you for
Bye.
joining us.
Love you. Love you, AK.
So the other thing is, you also don't have to allow yourself to fall into a pack mentality just because one person thinks a certain way about another person. You don't have to go along with that. If you don't have negative um, interactions with that person, why are you falling into a pack mentality of negativity about another person? Honestly, it should only,
100%
yeah,
true.
it
That's
should
so
only,
true. It's like high school, sitting at the cool chicks table. You
it,
know, I mean,
it should only
that's
be
how I look at
determined,
it.
it should only be determined by your interaction with that person, not somebody
That
else's
pack
interaction.
mentality is human nature. You
Right.
have to grow as a human being to pull yourself out of the pack mentality. But
Pack
pack
mentality is
mentality is
wolf
human
nature.
nature.
It's not human nature, it's wolf nature.
You have to pull yourself out of that mentality.
And that's where the self-discipline comes in, you know, and setting your boundaries, like AK was saying. You know, you have to set those boundaries, you have to set limits, and you have to know what you want, where you want to go, what your goals are, and what you're willing to accept and not accept. You know, without all of those affirmations, self-affirmations, it's really hard to get a grasp on your self-worth. So there's a lot involved. There really is.
Pretty much.
Yes, pack mentality is human because if everybody jumps on the van, I have to jump with them, or not even jump with them. I just have to gather in the pack. Um, if I don't have the ability mentally to not, because I would rather, I'm not saying me, but you get my point, stay with the group rather than to not be with the group and have a chance they're going to turn on me. So I'm going to slide in the group and just, blend in. The person has to have the mentality that I'm strong enough that I don't have to do that. I
So I
can
think,
either stand up with Nevaeh or I can stand back and be my own person. People who jump in with a pack mentality are either people who just enjoy attacking people, or they're people who doesn't have the ability to stand on their own 2 feet.
yeah, so what Golden said is true. The way someone treats others is a huge indication of how they will treat you. And we see that a lot in YouTube. One day, you have what you consider a best friend, and then the next day they're like turning on you like a rabid dog. And so just choose your friends wisely. If you want to call someone in your circle in YouTube a friend, choose them wisely because you
And
may
that goes
find you.
back to the yeah, and that goes back to the very first point that I made about you know, those things are constantly changing. I said too often we're basing our own value on how someone else is treating us, or how successful we are, or how many subscribers we have, or how many people are in your chat. And I said, that's what the problem is. Those things are constantly changing from one day to the next. It's totally different. We could have 100 people in chat today and 2 people in chat tomorrow, and it's changing. It constantly changes. Somebody who's successful um, can lose that job, and overnight can lose everything, so you really have to think about those things. Those are constant things that are changing, and we can't base our self-worth on things that are constantly changing.
So
The only
Bless,
thing that stays true is your heart. You stay true to yourself.
yeah, so Bless is I just have to speak to this. So Bless, you have never been negative towards me in any way whatsoever, and so I love you for that, because I know that you keep company with people that do, so I appreciate that. And so just know that there's a lot of people in this community who do value you, and one person isn't going to change the way that they feel if they're true to you. So just wanted to say that.
I don't know if you guys noticed on my thumbnail, I did the Dr. Seuss quote that I often refer to all the time, and it says, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." And I really believe that's true, and that's something that I think about every day. Try to surround yourself with those people who matter and are going to lead you in the right direction. Golden, you want to come up here? I can put the link for you. If there's anybody who would like to come up, you're more than welcome to.
I need to drop for a little bit.
I appreciate you coming up here, Cindy. I'm not going to go for much longer. I think we've covered all of the points that we wanted to cover. And so thank you for coming up here and sharing your thoughts. It really means a lot to me. And hopefully others that are watching can
All right, thank you.
get something
Take care,
from
Cindy.
this, So thank you. Well, Nevaeh, I think this is a good place for us to end this. I think we've covered a lot of good points and helped bring awareness to the fact that people need to really think about what their self-worth is and where they stand, not just
Well, I
within
do.
themselves, but
Yeah, I do. I do hope that the positivity that has been shared here does have an impact on some people, and at least some people, if not all. And much appreciation to everybody who participated both on the panel and in the chat.
yes, I think we had some great people join us and share their thoughts and ideas. And thank you, Nevaeh. I certainly appreciate you coming up here. And
Thanks for having me.
Once again, you're welcome. Once again, I want to take just a second here to think about Kat Nat and what a wonderful person she was, and how she left a positive vibe with me and with many people whose lives she touched and came across. So let's end this with thoughts of Kat Nat and what a great person she was, and how she gave me the opportunity, or put that out there, presented it with, to me to think about my own self-worth. So thank you all for joining. I appreciate everybody. And remember, be kind to each other. And like I said before, smile, it's contagious. You never know whose day it's going to change. So thank you all for joining. I appreciate every one of you who has stayed in here and hung out with us. And we will see you next time. and listen to this. I know it's not drama, and it's probably not going to bring a huge crowd, but it was something that we felt, or I felt that we needed to talk about. So thank you all again for joining me, and hope you all have a wonderful night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.